established within his heart. Nigama kalpataru galitam phalam Sukamakad amrita dravya samyutam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Pibata Bhagavatam Rasam Alayam Muhur Ahoraska Bhuvibhavukaha. O expert and thoughtful man, relish Srimad Bhagavatam, the mature fruit of the desire tree of Vedic literatures. It emanated from the lips of Sri Sukadeva Goswami. Therefore, this fruit has become even more tasteful, although its nectarian juice was already relishable for all, including liberated souls. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 9, verse number 42. Now I can meditate with full concentration upon the one Lord, Shri Krishna, now present before me, because now I have transcended the misconceptions of duality in regard to his presence in everyone's heart, even in the hearts of the mental speculators. He is in everyone's heart. The sun may be perceived differently, but the sun is one. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Lord Shri Krishna is the one absolute Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he has expanded himself into his multiplenary portions by his inconceivable energy. The conception of duality is due to ignorance of his inconceivable energy. In the Bhagavad Gita 9.11, the Lord says that only the foolish take him to be a mere human being. Such foolish men are not aware of his inconceivable energies. By his inconceivable energy, he is present in everyone's heart, as the sun is present before everyone all over the world. The Paramatma feature of the Lord is an expansion of his plenary portions. He expands himself as Paramatma in everyone's heart by his inconceivable energy, and he also expands himself as the glowing effulgence of Brahmajyoti by expansion of his personal glow. It is stated in the Brahma Samhita that the Brahmajyoti is his personal glow. Therefore, there is no difference between him and his personal glow, Brahmajyoti, or his personal portion as Paramatma. Less intelligent persons who are not aware of this fact consider Brahmajyoti and Paramatma to be different from Sri Krishna. This misconception of duality is completely removed from the mind of Bhismadeva, and he is now satisfied that it is Lord Sri Krishna only who is all in everything. This enlightenment is attained by the great Mahatmas or devotees, as it is stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.19, that Vasudeva is all in everything, and that there is no existence of anything without Vasudeva. Vasudeva, or Lord Shri Krishna, is the original Supreme Person, as now confirmed by a Mahajana, and therefore both the neophytes and the pure devotees must try to follow in his footsteps. That is the way of devotional service. The worshipable object of Bhismadeva is Lord Shri Krishna as Partha Sarati, and that of the gopis is the same Krishna in Vrindavan as the most attractive Shyam Sundar. Sometimes less intelligent scholars make a mistake and think that the Krishna of Vrindavan and that of the battle of Kurukshetra are different personalities, but for Bhismadeva this misconception is completely removed. Even the impersonalist object of destination is Krishna as the impersonal Jyoti, and the yogi's destination Paramatma is also Krishna. Krishna is both Brahmajyoti and localized Paramatma, but in Brahmajyoti or Paramatma there is no Krishna or sweet relations with Krishna. in his personal feature, Krishna is both Parthasarathi and Shamsundar of Vrindavana, but in his impersonal feature, he is neither in the Brahmajyoti nor in the Paramatma. Great Mahatmas like Bhismadeva realize all these different features of Lord Sri Krishna, and therefore they worship Lord Krishna, knowing him as the origin of all features. Well, this is a very wonderful purport by Prabhupada. Basically saying, Bahanam janmanamante jnanavamam papadyante vasudeva savamiti samahatma sudurlabhaha. 7th chapter and 18th verse, where he says, after many, many births and deaths, one who comes to knowledge knows me to be the source of everything and the cause of all causes. Such a great soul is very rare. Srila Prabhupada writes, the living entity, while executing devotional service or transcendental rituals, after many, many births, may actually become situated in transcendental pure knowledge that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate goal of spiritual realization. Notice he doesn't say must become situated in transcendental knowledge. He says may. So why is that? Because unless one has association with a pure devotee, there's no guarantee that doing all those rituals, all those meditations, and all those sacrifices, all those pilgrimages will lead to actually transcendental pure knowledge that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There's no guarantee. But if one connects with a bona fide spiritual master and spiritual masters, then there's a very good chance that they'll come to the conclusion that Vasudeva Sarvanmati, O Krishna, you are the cause of all causes and all that is. But that's a rare thing. Manusyanam sasresu kaschit jati siddhaye jatatam api siddhanam kaschit mam veti tatvataha. That out of many thousands of people, some try for perfection. And out of many millions of those who have attained perfection, only one or hardly one knows Krishna in truth. So this is a fact that it's a rare thing to know and have faith that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But this rare thing becomes very possible and even easy if one associates with genuine devotees of the Lord. So, in the beginning of spiritual realization, one is trying to give up one's attachment to materialism. There is some leaning toward impersonalism. But when one is further advanced, he can understand that there are activities in the spiritual life and that these activities constitute devotional service. So here is an indictment of the Mayavadis. The Mayavadis say that the absolute truth is not personal. It's impersonal. And all this thing about gopis and Vaikuntha or Goloka and cows and Krishna taking the little cows and the cowherd boys out every morning, and his mother packing a lunch for him, and all the mothers of the cowherd boys packing lunch for them, and they take lunch together, and they chant Hare Krishna, and they play leapfrog, and they do this and they do that. That's all nonsense, according to the Mayavadis. It doesn't exist. You see, there's no such thing as activity in the spiritual state for the Mayavadis. So, therefore, Prabhupada says, in the beginning of spiritualization, while one is trying to give up one's attachment to materialism, there is some leaning toward impersonalism. In other words, what is impersonalism? Impersonalism means inactivity. One denies their individuality, and one denies their assets of intelligence and mind and ego and senses and so forth. And they think that the absolute realization of the truth leads to inactivity, stopping all actions. And Arjuna also thought like that in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, but Krishna said, no, it's not by abstaining from actions that one attains perfection. It's but by acting according to the Lord's instruction that one attains perfection. So, therefore he's saying here, but when one is further advanced, he can understand that there are activities in the spiritual life, and that these activities constitute devotional service. So the Mayavadis, they say, well, in a lower stage one can engage in what you call bhakti. It's because it's more for sentimental people who are less intelligent. They can't understand Vedanta Sutra and other high-class Vedic literatures. So they need this emotional crutch of deity worship and blah, blah, blah. They go on, talking nonsense like that. But we who are higher intelligence, we know that you have to understand what is sat and what is asat, and what is real and what is false, and reject everything that's not real, including Krishna. How can he be real? He's dancing with other people's wives. That's all nonsense, you know. So you see, they don't understand anything about spiritual life. Other than, they are spiritualists, they are transcendentalists, they're trying to control their senses, they're trying to give up sense gratification. Yes, but the more subtle forms of sense gratification is something that they can't give up. The desire to be God by merging into the effulgence coming from Krishna's body. That's a material desire. It's not a spiritual desire. Why would one want to merge into God and God's energy and think that he's become God? It's much better to serve God or serve Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the source of all energies, and use the energy that he's given you or us in the form of the mind, intelligence, and the senses to please him. So, at such a time, one can understand. So, when a person understands that there are activities in the spiritual world and is constituted by devotional service, realizing this, the devotee becomes attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and surrenders to him. At such a time, one can understand that Lord Shri Krishna's mercy is everything. Vasudeva Sarvamiti, O Lord, you are everything for me. And that he is the cause of all causes, and that this material manifestation is not independent from him. He realizes the material world to be a perverted reflection of spiritual variegatedness, and realizes that in everything there is a relationship with the Supreme Lord Krishna. Thus he thinks of everything in relation to Vasudeva or Sri Krishna. Such a universal vision of Vasudeva precipitates one's full surrender to the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna as the highest goal. Such surrendered great souls are very rare. So there you are. This is becoming what it mentions in this verse, that Bhismadeva says, now I have transcended the misconceptions of duality in regard to his presence in everyone's heart, even in the hearts of the mental speculators. He is in everyone's heart. The sun may be perceived differently, but the sun is one. So what he means here is that Krishna is the cause and the effect of everything. There's nothing independent of him. So not only he's enjoying with the gopis and cowherd boys in the spiritual world, he's also present in the heart of every living entity. And the whole spiritual world and the material world are situated on his Brahmajyoti energy. And everything is encompassed or contained within his, in the material world, in his universal form. And in the spiritual world, he's present everywhere by his plenary expansions of the first chapter of Yuha and all the Narayana forms and so forth. So he's within everything, he contains everything, he's the source of everything, and everything will return back to him eventually, either in the spiritual world or into his body as Mahavishnu. There's nothing independent of Krishna. He's the cause of all causes. Therefore, there's no more duality. This is real Advaita. The false Advaita says that there's absolute oneness. There's no such thing as Achintya Veda Veda Tattva. It's only Kevala Advaita. So that's not even half the truth. It's less than half the truth. The real truth is Achintya Veda Veda Tattva. The absolute truth is simultaneously and inconceivably one and different. So, Krishna is present in the spiritual world in his original form. Another example is Parthasarathi, driving the chariot of Arjuna, is not different than Sham Sundar, who's dancing with the gopis. Therefore, when Prabhupada named the deities in Delhi, Radha Parthasarathi, some people criticize it. What is this nonsense? Parthasarathi. There's no Parthasarathi with Radharani. But you see, there is. How many times does he mention it in this purport? He says, the worshipful object of Bhismadeva is Lord Sri Krishna as Parthasarathi, and that of the gopis is the same Krishna in Vrindavana as the most attractive Sham Sundar. Sometimes less intelligent scholars make a mistake and think that the Krishna of Vrindavana and that of the battle of Kurukshetra are different personalities. But for Bhismadeva, this misconception is completely removed. Even the impersonalist object of destination is Krishna as the impersonal Jyoti, and the yogi's destination of Paramatma is also Krishna. Krishna is both Brahma Jyoti and localized Paramatma. But in the Brahma Jyoti or Paramatma, there's no Krishna or sweet relations with Krishna. In his personal feature of Krishna is both Parthasarathi and Sham Sundar of Vrindavana. But in his impersonal feature, he is neither in the Brahma Jyoti nor in the Paramatma. Great Mahatmas like Bhismadeva realize all these different features of Lord Shri Krishna, and therefore they worship Lord Krishna, knowing him as the origin of all features. So this is a very profound purport. And Prabhupada begins by saying, Krishna, Lord Shri Krishna, is the one absolute supreme personality of Godhead. But he has expanded himself into his multi-plenary portions by his inconceivable energy. So plenary means it's absolutely him. It's no difference between Narayana and Krishna. But there's only, let's say, different levels of sweetness. So Krishna is playing the flute, Narayana is holding four opulences in his four arms. So Narayana is the center of attraction for all devotees in Vaikuntha, but he doesn't have a few of the sweet qualities of Krishna, such as playing the flute, such as being surrounded by devotees who are intimately connected with him in intense love. Although Narayana has many worshippers, but they're worshiping with awe and reverence, whereas with Krishna, the devotees are involved in intense personal and interpersonal relationships of intimacy with the Lord. That's different than awe and reverence. And then Krishna, when he plays his flute, is all enchanting for all living entities. And also, the fourth one is that Krishna is so beautiful that one cannot take their eyes off of him. So, I mean, he has a few sweetnesses that Narayana doesn't have. But they're the same person. And Narayana has the same power as Krishna. Okay. So, therefore, the conception of duality is due to ignorance of Krishna's inconceivable energy. This is a big point That's why he says, Avajananti mam mudha manusim tanam asritaha param bhavam ajananto mamayam anuttamam. Let's see where that verse is. That is 9th chapter. Is it? No. Yes, 9th chapter. Is it 9th chapter? Maybe not. Let's see. Huh? Yeah, 9th chapter, 11th verse. And it says, Fools deride me when I descend in a human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as Supreme Lord of all that be. So, Krishna is the supreme controller, but there are many controllers. There are many Ishwaras, but Krishna is the Parameshwara. And he is both the Ishwara in the material and spiritual world. And he's the supreme controller, Ishwara Paramakrishna, and his body is Satchitananda, non-material. So anyway, the Mayavadis differentiate between the body of Krishna and the power of Krishna. They think that the body of Krishna is something material. And Krishna's individuality is also material. Therefore, Krishna defeats that by saying, Natvevaham jatu nasam, natvam nemi janadipahat, nachayvana bhavishyama sarvivayam atakparam. Never was there a time, Arjuna, when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor will there ever be a time when we shall cease to exist. So Krishna's body is completely transcendental. Ajopi san avyayatma bhutanam ishwaropi sam pakritim swamadistaya sambhavami atma mayaya. His body is not subject to decay. His body is always a pristine youth. So all these things bewilder the Mayavadis. Therefore, they have a wrong conception of duality, and they have a wrong conception of oneness. Both ways, they're wrong. Okay. And they don't accept that Krishna has inconceivable energies. And they differentiate between the Brahmajyoti, Paramatma, and Krishna. And they think everything comes from Brahmajyoti, which is not true. I mean, if you go down the list of all the mistakes they make philosophically, it's a long, long list. It's not just one or two things. It's hundreds of things. Okay, we'll stop right there. Any questions or comments? Yeah, like if you put 100 buckets of water and at 12 noon, you would see the sun reflected in each bucket. But the sun is one. It's not, although it looks like 100 now, because you can see the sun reflected in each bucket.
But I'm trying to understand, like, the translation means...
Don't tell me what the translation means, and at the same time you're asking a question, what does it mean?
The sun is Krishna, and Krishna can be perceived by many different...
No, the sun is an example. It's an example. Just like one can say, Paramananda has two eyes, but he can't see without glasses. Well, what does that mean? Can you see without the glasses?
I cannot read.
You cannot read. Okay. So, does it mean that your eyes don't work? No, they work. Right?
So it's an example. I was just trying to correlate sun as a Krishna.
Sun, no, there's some comparison of the sun to Krishna. See, an analogy is only good by the number of similarities. Right? If I say, Paramananda is a rug, are you a rug? Would that be an analogy? No. So if you say Krishna is the sun, no, he's not the sun. But if you say Krishna, there are some aspects of the sun that are similar to Krishna. Well then, okay, that's an analogy. Or what are those aspects? Well, sun seems to have it seems to be an infinite source of energy. It is made of light and heat. Well, Krishna says that Bhumir apo nalo vayu kam mano buddhirevacha. So he is. He says that Rasaham apsakonteya pravasmi sasi suraya. He says, I'm the light of the sun and the moon. Well, so therefore, there's a comparison between the sun and Krishna, because he's the source of the light, and the sun has light, right? And then he says that Tejas chasmi vibhavaso, or he is the Tejas, he is power, right? The sun has power, and that heat, he is the fire of digestion. So, the sun has this fire. So there are many comparisons between the sun and Krishna. That doesn't mean that the sun is Krishna. What it means is Krishna is everything, but everything is not Krishna. Okay? So if Krishna is everything, then there's a comparison, right? But everything is not Krishna means you can't say the sun is Krishna. All right? So this is just a comparison or an analogy. An analogy is only good if there are many points of similarity. And you can make a wrong analogy. You can say, Paramananda is a rug. No, you're not a rug. what are the points of similarity between you and the rug? There are none, right? So that would be a false analogy. Mayavadis make a lot of false analogies. They say, individuality is like a bubble of air underwater. And when the bubble comes up to the surface of the water, it goes and bursts and becomes one with the water. That's the soul is like that. One with the sky, yeah, one with the air. Is that a valid analogy of the soul? No, it's not. It's an invalid analogy. The soul never loses its individuality. So if you see a whale, an orca whale, jumps up out of the Puget Sound, right? And you have your binoculars. I see the whale, and then it goes back into the ocean. It's merged with the ocean now. Has it merged? It hasn't merged. It's just because of your or our imperfect seeing. So you see, it's very easy to make false analogies. So Prabhupada says analogy is only valid as long as there are many points of similarity. Haribol. Haribol. Where's the Srila Prabhupada? And you're not a rug. You're not a rug.